There's a lot of complaints about the Ranger class, so much so that Wizards of the Coast even released a playtesting, at least, alternate version of the class, which hasn't made its way into a book yet. But I think the Ranger class deserves another look at it, so I'm going to be doing that today. No, there's no intro card. What do you expect? I am a professional. So for this video, we're going to be just discussing what the complaints are and maybe some ideas about how to fix them. I'm just trying to tell you this is what we're going to be focusing on, because if you're going with this project, you're like, here's what I want to do to fix in this class, you need to define what you're going to fix first and then figure out the ways to define it. All right. First thing I'm going to mention, we're not going to cover Beastmaster. That's a subclass, not a class. And I've read some articles saying Beastmaster it's okay, you just aren't reading it entirely, or some people saying Beastmaster is horrible, but that's the subclass, and I think the Unearthed Arcana did a pretty good job of getting it better, keeping the beast from being just a mindless clone or a mindless minion. So specifically at the class, one complaint lobbying against it is that it is not specialized. So there was a video made by XP to level 3 where he said Ranger is a mix of a druid, rogue, and fighter, and thus it's not the best at fighting, roguing, or druiding. It's a mix of both. Now, I think this is actually good because this is a sneakier but still tough nature survivalist, and that fits in. It's okay to be a little bit of each class. A warlock, for instance, is a bit of cleric and wizard mixed together because you're serving a higher power, you're studying arcane magic, things like that, but it also has its own unique elements. So number 2, this is actually 2 parts, but Natural Explorer either never gets used or completely shuts down exploration. So the one, Natural Explorer never gets used. I don't see the problem with this because here's the thing. Natural Explorer, you can pick another one at level 6. So unless you're playing a bunch of tier 1 campaigns, in which case it's a valid point, and you're not talking to your DM about what terrain we're going to be in for this. And even if you go to a different place after 6th level, you still have level 10. So you have 2 options to get a new terrain. And if you're playing a place in which you're going across many different terrains, at least you'll have some variety. At least you'll have some sense of, hey, these are places we're likely to go to, so I'm going to pick those as my favorite terrain because I've been in them. On the other hand, if you are in your favorite terrain, the amount of features that you have, food, travel pace, stealth, being alert, never getting lost, which is, I think, a bit too powerful. You get all these things in it, and it basically serves a purpose of shutting down the cool nitty-gritty of exploration, like roll to not get lost. Now, roll to see if you're paying attention, roll to find food, and things like that. So yes, you are doing cool things, you are avoiding all these survival challenges, but the thing is, you're not doing it with, yes, there's a slight possibility for a failure, but I'm so good that I roll and boom, I win. So number 3 on the complaint, and these next 3 are going to be similar, but number 3 is that favored enemy does nothing. Yes, it does help you with lore and tracking checks for your favorite enemy, but really, it doesn't provide any damage bonus. I mean, Revives Ranger does, but it's just a little bit, and it just meshes wrong with the concept. Like the concept for favorite enemy is, my clan was killed by orcs, every last one. I have spent my life dedicated to fighting these things, tracking them, studying them, learning to kill them. And because of that, I get no bonuses to damage against them. So this is not very good when it comes to your favorite enemy. Number 4, the Ranger caps at around level 9 to 11. So the Ranger itself, the class, it doesn't have any special attacks. I mean, you do get your fighting style, but so does everybody else. And rogues still get higher sneak attack die. Paladins eventually get improved Divine Smite, which means they basically always double their dice when they're using a longsword. Barbarians, they get more to their automatic plus to strength attacks, and also they get even more brutal criticals, which is just ridiculous damage when you think about it. Now, not all classes have a signature attack. For instance, Fighter doesn't, but they get more uses of Action Surge, which gives them more attacks, which is kind of their main shtick. And they also get more uses of Indomitable, which is their big defensive buff. So I think Rangers, the class itself, should have some sort of mechanical damage increaser, as opposed to just hoping that, or just relying on your subclass to give you good damage. Number 5 is that some people think Hunter's Mark is mandatory. This is the fix to solving this problem, as in, if you want higher damage output, you have to take Hunter's Mark. And that, as such, people are like, but it's so boring. It's like Eldritch Blast with Warlocks. It's just, everybody takes it, thus it's really boring. It should be a class feature. Stay tuned. And then there's a couple more ones, like for instance, the bonus action features, like hiding or dash and disengaging as a bonus action, they come later. They come too late. Like you're getting them, I don't know, 10th, 14th level, and it's just, why? Why at this point do I get this feature? Another one is that Primeval Awareness is much too costly for too little information. Now, Revised Ranger did a very good job of fixing this, but in the PHB, it was spend a spell slot to know if there are favored enemies in the area. Not where they are, not like just a general guess at their numbers. So it's just really boring. So I'm not going to touch that one too much, but the thing that we're also going to touch is Slayer's Prey. I don't recall if this is the Revised Ranger or the PHB Ranger, but basically you get to add your Wisdom modifier to attack and damage rolls of 1 attack against 1 creature per round. This is a just letdown. I mean, yes, it does boost your damage and it gives you a pretty solid hit in, but compare that with things like Druid having infinite wild shapes and also not needing material components for their spells. Rogues getting an auto success, and whatever Paladins are, just, it blows my mind to think about what Paladins are just amazing at level 20. And these guys, Rangers, they're on par with superior inspiration, or whatever it is for the bardic inspiration thing. So I've kind of given you an overview of what my thoughts are on these things, and so we're going to, over the next couple of videos, well, not the Tuesday videos, but the next couple of videos on the Ranger, we're going to be discussing all of these improvements, what we can do, and potentially getting a better Ranger out of it. So stay tuned.